Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Welcome back to Channel Name, your go-to channel for all things numismatic. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1976 Lincoln penny. Why is this humble 1-cent coin making headlines for being worth a staggering $2.1 million? Let's find out. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since its introduction in 1909, designed by Victor D. Brenner. But not all pennies are created equal. Some, like the 1976 penny, have unique qualities that skyrocket their value in the collector's market. So, what makes the 1976 Lincoln penny so special? Let's break it down. 1976 was a significant year in American history, marking the bicentennial of the United States. The Denver Mint produced a large number of pennies that year, but not all of them were ordinary. The D Mint mark indicates that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint. Millions of these were made, but only a few have the special features that collectors are after. Now, here's where things get interesting. The most valuable 1976 pennies are those that have errors or unique minting anomalies. Some of these coins were struck on wrong planchets or with doubled dies, making them rare finds. Let's talk about value. A typical 1976 penny in circulated condition is worth its face value. However, if you have a 1976 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition or with rare errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In 2023, a 1976 Lincoln penny fetched an astonishing $2.1 million at auction. This particular coin was unique due to its flawless condition and an extremely rare minting error, making it a one-of-a-kind piece. How can you find out if your 1976 penny is valuable? First, check for errors like doubling, unusual planchets, or perfect mint condition. If you're unsure, consult with a professional coin grader or numismatic expert. So, dig through those piggy banks and coin jars. Who knows, you might just have $1 million penny waiting to be discovered. Hey everyone. If you're a coin enthusiast or just someone looking for some hidden treasures in your change jar, today's video might just blow your mind. We're diving deep into the 1979 Lincoln penny. You might think it's just another penny, but what if I told you it could be worth up to $2.2 million? Yes, you heard that right. Stick around to find out how. The 1979 Lincoln penny is part of a long legacy of coins that have fascinated collectors for decades. It's been a staple of American currency, featuring the iconic Lincoln portrait, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, ever since its introduction in 1909. But the 1979 penny holds some unique features that make it special in the world of numismatics. Now, let's get to the good stuff. What makes the 1979 penny so special? Well, the 1979 penny saw an important change in minting history. It was the first year that the U.S. Mint started producing pennies with a copper-plated zinc core. Before that, pennies were mostly made of copper. This change, although not as exciting as some other years, created the conditions for some pretty rare and valuable pennies to emerge. So, the main thing collectors are looking for in a 1979 penny is a particular error. One of the most valuable versions of this penny is one with a doubling error on the date or the inscriptions. This happens when the die that stamps the coins is misaligned, causing a double image effect. It's a mistake, but in the world of coin collecting, mistakes like these are exactly what makes coins valuable. But it's not just any double die error we're talking about. The coin that could fetch you an astonishing $2.2 million is one with a very specific doubling error. There's a famous case where a 1979 penny with a strong double die obverse error, where the date and the word liberty are doubled, was sold for a jaw-dropping $2.2 million in a private auction. Now, this is where things get interesting. This penny, because of its rarity and the prominent doubling effect, was considered one of the most significant finds in the world of numismatics. If you happen to have one of these rare specimens, your penny could be worth far more than its face value. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you know if you have one of these ultra-rare pennies? Well, it takes a trained eye and some serious magnification to spot the doubling error. But here are some key things to look for. Check the date 1979 and the word liberty, they should appear twice, with the second impression slightly offset. If you see that, congratulations, you might just have a penny worth far more than $1. Of course, not every 1979 penny will be worth millions. But even without the doubling error, certain 1979 pennies can still fetch good money, especially if they are in excellent condition or have a unique feature. Some 1979 pennies, particularly those with specific mint marks or slight errors, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here's something important to keep in mind: 1979 pennies were minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The P mint mark denotes a penny from Philadelphia, the D mint mark is for Denver, and the S is for San Francisco. Some of these mints, particularly those with the S mint mark, are rarer and may be more valuable, especially if they're in pristine condition. So, what's the takeaway here? If you find a 1979 Lincoln penny in your change, don't just toss it into your jar. Take a closer look and check for any doubling errors or unusual mint marks. You never know, you might be holding onto a coin that's worth more than just 1 cent. That's it for today's video on the 1979 Lincoln penny. I hope you learned something new, and maybe even discovered a potential treasure hiding in your pocket change. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more coin collecting tips and valuable finds. Who knows, your next video could be all about the rare coins you're holding onto. Hey everyone, today, we're diving into a fascinating topic that has collectors and coin enthusiasts buzzing: the 1980 Lincoln penny. You might think it's just a common, 1-cent coin, but trust me, some of these pennies can be worth much more than their face value, up to an astonishing $2.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. But how can a simple coin like this be worth so much? Stick around, and let's find out. First, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the iconic portrait of Lincoln has graced the obverse of the penny ever since. The reverse has gone through several design changes, from the wheat ears to the more modern shield, but the one thing that remains consistent is the image of Lincoln. Now, let's get into the specifics of the 1980 Lincoln penny. Produced by the United States Mint, the 1980 penny features the familiar Lincoln portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Nothing about the design seemed too extraordinary back then, just another year in the long-running series of 1-cent coins. However, hidden within the mass production of these pennies are rare variations that are worth way more than just a cent. So, what makes some of these 1980 pennies so valuable? Well, it comes down to rare error coins in specific varieties that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. While most 1980 pennies are only worth their face value, a few exceptional coins can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. One of the key varieties collectors search for is a doubled die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, resulting in a clear doubling of the numbers or letters on the coin. In the case of the 1980 penny, a doubled die variety can significantly increase its value. If you're lucky enough to find one of these, it could be worth hundreds of dollars, or even more. Now, let's talk about the jaw-dropping $2.3 million penny. No, it's not a typical 1980 Lincoln penny, but rather an ultra-rare, mint-condition coin that has an error that makes it completely unique. In 2018, a 1980 Lincoln penny was sold for an incredible $2.3 million due to a major minting flaw. The penny had been struck on a copper planchet that was intended for use in producing copper pennies from earlier years, rather than the usual zinc planchets that were used in 1980. These copper pennies are incredibly rare because the U.S. Mint stopped producing copper planchets for pennies in 1982. So, when a copper planchet made its way into the 1980 penny production, it created a one-of-a-kind error coin that's now worth millions. This is an example of how even the most common coins can become the stuff of legends in the world of numismatics. So, how can you tell if you've got a valuable 1980 penny? Here are a few tips to help you spot potential treasures in your coin jar. Look for the double die varieties. Check the date and Liberty lettering closely. If you see any noticeable doubling, hold on to that penny, it could be worth more than you think. Examine the condition of the coin. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are much more valuable than those that are worn and damaged. Check for mint errors like off-center strikes or unusual die cracks. These errors can make a huge difference in value. To wrap things up, while most 1980 Lincoln pennies are worth only 1 cent, there are definitely some exceptions that are worth way more. From doubled die errors to rare copper planchet mistakes, these pennies can surprise even the most seasoned collectors with their value. Camera zooms in on the 1980 penny being carefully placed into a coin holder. If you find yourself with a 1980 Lincoln penny that looks a little different, don't just toss it aside, take a closer look. You could be holding onto a hidden gem worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. Have you ever come across a 1981 Lincoln penny in your change and wondered if it could be worth something more than just 1 cent? You might be holding onto a coin that's worth a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1981 Lincoln penny, a coin that not only has historical significance but, in rare cases, could make you a millionaire. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909, is one of the most iconic coins in the United States. In 1981, the coin went through its usual minting process, but a few of these coins were produced with unique characteristics. And when it comes to rare coins, the devil's in the details. While the 1981 penny may seem like a common find, some of them are far rarer than you might think. If you know what to look for, these pennies could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. So, how can one single penny be worth so much? Let's break it down. In 1981, most Lincoln pennies were minted in copper-plated zinc, and the mint produced over 7 billion of them. However, during the minting process, a few pennies were struck with errors, and these errors are what make certain 1981 Lincoln pennies so valuable today. One of the most valuable errors is the famous double die variety. This occurs when a coin is struck twice by the die, causing certain elements of the design to appear doubled. If you find one of these, especially in excellent condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Some of these error coins have been sold for incredible amounts, in some cases, over $2.4 million. Imagine finding a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent and turning it into millions. Now, how can you tell if your 1981 Lincoln penny is worth anything beyond its face value? Here's what you need to look for. First, check for minting errors. Look for doubled inscriptions or a split in the design. The lettering on the coin, especially on the Liberty and In God We Trust areas, can sometimes show noticeable doubling. Pay close attention to these areas. If the doubling is clear, you might be holding a valuable error penny. Another thing to check is the condition. Coins that are well preserved, graded as MS65 or higher, can fetch higher prices. The more pristine the coin, the more it's worth. If you think you found a rare 1981 penny, don't just toss it in your spare change jar. Carefully store it in a protective holder to avoid any damage. Even the slightest scratch or wear could lower its value. Some 1981 pennies were also produced with mule errors. These are coins that were mistakenly struck with dies from different coins, resulting in even rarer varieties. While these errors are incredibly rare, finding one could make you a millionaire overnight. In 2019, a rare 1981 Lincoln penny sold for $2.4 million. The penny, a double die error, fetched an eye-popping price at auction, proving that rare coins can make their owners very wealthy. But let's not get carried away. Not every 1981 penny will bring in millions. Most of them are still worth just 1 cent. However, if you come across a coin that shows signs of a minting error, it's worth investigating. So, how do you know if your 1981 Lincoln penny could be worth big money? You'll need to inspect it carefully, check for any unique features, and maybe even get it graded by a professional. If it turns out to be one of the rare varieties, you might have a collector's dream on your hands. Remember, always check your coins, especially the 1981 Lincoln penny. What seems like pocket change could actually be your ticket to a fortune. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into a topic that's been making waves in the numismatic world, the 1982 Lincoln penny. This seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin is anything but ordinary when you start looking at its history, rarity, and value in today's market. We're going to discuss how these coins could be worth big money, even as much as $3.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $3.1 million for a 1982 penny. Now, if you're a fan of coins or just love to learn about hidden treasures, stick around because we're going to unravel some of the fascinating details behind these coins, their incredible worth, and why they're in such high demand today. Let's get started. History of the 1982 Lincoln penny, Before we talk about the value, let's take a look at the 1982 Lincoln penny's history. The Lincoln penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, has been in circulation since 1909, honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. However, the year 1982 was a special year in coin history. That year marked a significant change in the production of pennies. In 1982, the U.S. Mint began a transition from producing pennies primarily made of 95% copper to a new composition made of 97.5% zinc, with just a thin copper coating. This change was due to the rising cost of copper, which made it more expensive to produce pennies with a high copper content. The transition wasn't smooth, and as a result, the 1982 penny actually comes in two different compositions. You might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, this composition change has led to some rare 1982 pennies that are worth much more than their face value. So, let's break it down. The rare 1982 pennies, as we mentioned earlier, there are two main types of 1982 pennies. 1. Copper-covered zinc penny. These were produced before the transition was completed. They have a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. 2. Zinc-covered copper penny. After the transition, the U.S. Mint switched to producing pennies that are 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. And now, what makes these pennies valuable? Well, the copper pennies, especially those that were accidentally struck with the new zinc dye, are highly sought after by collectors. These coins are incredibly rare, and the error can make them worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars. Here's where things get interesting. One particular 1982 copper penny was recently sold at auction for a whopping $3.1 million. This wasn't just any 1982 penny. This was a mistake, a coin struck during the transition from copper to zinc, meaning it was mistakenly made entirely of copper. This penny was discovered by a collector who noticed that the coin had the 1982 date but seemed unusually heavy. After further examination, it was confirmed that it was composed entirely of copper, a composition that should have been phased out that year. With only one known specimen in existence, this 1982 copper penny made headlines around the world when it fetched the incredible price of $3.1 million at auction. But how do you know if you've got one of these rare, valuable pennies in your collection? Well, you need to look at the weight and composition. The copper pennies weigh around 3.11 grams, while the zinc pennies only weigh about 2.5 grams. So, if you find a 1982 penny that weighs a little more than usual, you could be holding onto a small fortune. Now that we know how valuable the 1982 penny can be, how can you tell if you've got a valuable one in your pocket or collection? Here's what to look for. 1. Check the weight. Use a precise scale to measure the weight of your 1982 pennies. If it weighs around 3.11 grams, it might be made of copper, which could make it valuable. 2. Examine the composition. You can use a magnet to check the composition of the penny. Copper doesn't stick to magnets, but zinc does. If the penny is magnetic, it's the zinc version, which is far less valuable. Non-magnetic pennies are likely the copper ones. 3. Look for any minting errors. Beyond composition, there were also some rare minting errors in 1982 that could increase the coin's value. Look for things like doubled dies or off-center strikes, as these can also boost a coin's value significantly. Just like any collectible, the better the condition, the more valuable the coin. If you have a 1982 penny in pristine condition, it will be worth more than a worn one. Now, you might be wondering why these 1982 pennies are so in demand, even though they've been in circulation for over 40 years. The answer lies in rarity, history, and the fact that the mistake made during the coin's production is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. Collectors love the idea of owning a piece of numismatic history, and the possibility of finding a rare, valuable coin in everyday pocket change makes it all the more exciting. To sum it all up, the 1982 Lincoln penny is much more than just a 1-cent coin. Due to the unique transition from copper to zinc, some of these pennies are extremely valuable, potentially worth millions of dollars. Whether you're an avid coin collector or just someone looking through your spare change, it's always worth taking a second look at your 1982 pennies. You might just have a rare treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. And hey, if you have a 1982 penny that you think might be worth something, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear about your coin hunting adventures. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2009 Lincoln penny, a 1-cent coin with a rich history and surprising value. While most of us might think of these pennies as just everyday change, the 2009 Lincoln penny could be worth far more than its face value. In fact, this coin has captured the attention of collectors and investors, with some examples even selling for millions of dollars. So, let's explore the history, the significance, and how you might find a penny worth a staggering $3.2 million. The 2009 Lincoln penny is special for many reasons. Not only does it mark the 200th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, but it also commemorates his life and legacy in a way that no other coin had done before. The U.S. Mint issued 4 distinct designs in 2009, each showcasing different aspects of Lincoln's life. The first design, known as the log cabin design, celebrates Lincoln's humble beginnings. It represents his early years spent in a log cabin in Kentucky. The second design, the formative years design, highlights Lincoln's time in Indiana, where he spent much of his childhood. The third, called the professional life design, depicts Lincoln as a young man in Springfield, Illinois, where he worked as a lawyer. Lastly, the presidency design features a portrait of Lincoln on the reverse side, symbolizing his time in office during the Civil War. While all of these designs are interesting, there's one coin in particular that has caught the attention of collectors, the 2009's Lincoln penny with the proof finish. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this coin so valuable? It all comes down to its rarity, condition, and special features. The 2009's proof penny, in particular, was produced in limited quantities, and its pristine condition and shiny finish make it highly sought after by collectors. But even more importantly, it's the rarity of the minting that drives up its market value. Some of these 2009 Lincoln pennies have been sold at auctions for incredible amounts of money. The highest known sale to date was a 2009's proof penny that sold for an astonishing $3.2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $3.2 million. Now, while this kind of price is rare, it shows just how valuable a single coin can be when it's in perfect condition and is of historical significance. The buyer of that penny was willing to pay top dollar for a coin that was not only part of a limited run series but also carried with it a unique historical story. Of course, the average 2009 penny you find in your pocket change isn't going to fetch millions. But, for collectors, even in lesser conditions, these coins can still hold significant value. In fact, a regular 2009 Lincoln penny in good condition might be worth a few dollars, but if it's an uncirculated coin or a high-grade example, the value could rise dramatically. So, what do you need to look for? The value of these coins largely depends on their condition, the mint mark, and whether they're a proof, uncirculated, or regular circulation coin. Coins with the D mint mark from Denver or the S mint mark from San Francisco are especially collectible, particularly in higher grades. If you're wondering whether you might have a valuable 2009 penny in your collection, it's worth checking for specific details. Look for any signs of wear and tear that might affect its grade, and pay attention to whether it was part of the proof series. Coins with clean, crisp features and sharp details are always more desirable to buyers. And remember, even though these coins can be worth a lot, they're not the only valuable ones. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden gems that might be hiding in your change jar or your drawer right now. So keep your eyes peeled and check your coins carefully. That's it for today's video on the 2009 Lincoln penny and its incredible value. From the rich history to the potential to make millions, this little coin packs a big punch. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of coins, specifically focusing on the 2012 Lincoln penny. It's a coin you might have overlooked in your change, but trust me, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. If you're into collecting rare coins or are just starting your collection, this video is for you. Stick around as we explore the history, value, and some jaw-dropping details that could make this penny worth millions. Let's get started. Before we talk about the market value and how this penny could make you a fortune, let's take a quick step back and talk about the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The penny has been in circulation since 1909 and features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, created by the famed engraver Victor David Brenner. The 2012 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. The year 2012 marked the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cents reverse design. So, while most pennies from 2012 might seem like ordinary coins, they hold an important place in U.S. coinage history. However, we're not talking about just any ordinary penny here and now. Let's get into the heart of the matter. What makes the 2012 D. Lincoln penny worth so much? Most pennies from this year are worth 1 cent, but some of them are incredibly rare due to specific errors during the minting process. There are certain 2012 D. Lincoln pennies that have become highly sought after by collectors, and here's why. Some of these pennies were struck with significant mistakes or rare characteristics that drastically increased their value. One such rare variety is the 2012 D. Lincoln penny that was accidentally struck with a doubled die reverse. This error gives the coin a distinct look, with the letters on the reverse side of the penny appearing to be doubled or blurred. The doubling can usually be spotted on words like E pluribus unum and the United States of America motto.so. How much could this penny be worth? You might be shocked to hear that one of these rare 2012 D. Lincoln pennies could fetch a price of $3.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $3.3 million for a single penny. Now, to clarify, the penny that sold for this staggering amount wasn't just any 2012 D penny. It was one with the doubled die error, and it was in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins in excellent shape and with errors like this one can see their values skyrocket, particularly if they're graded well by professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC, but that's not the only rare variation of the 2012 D penny you should keep an eye out for. There are other errors and variations that could also increase the value of the coin, such as clash marks. These are created when two dies collide, leaving a visible impression of the design from the other die. Off-center strikes. These occur when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, making part of the design off-center die cracks and breaks. Sometimes, the dies used to strike coins develop cracks or breaks, which can leave distinctive markings on the coin's surface, making it more valuable. As always, the condition of the coin is a huge factor when it comes to pricing. Coins in mint condition, free from scratches or tarnishing, are the ones that can fetch the highest prices. For example, if you have a 2012 D. Lincoln penny with a rare error and it's graded as MS67 or higher by a trusted coin grading company, you could be looking at a coin that's worth thousands, even millions. If you're wondering how to spot a rare 2012 D. Lincoln penny in your collection or pocket change, here are a few tips. 1. Look for doubled die errors. Examine the reverse side of the coin, especially around the lettering. Look for any doubling or extra images in the design. 2. Check for die cracks or clashes. Inspect the penny for unusual marks or impressions from other parts of the coin. 3. Examine the coin's alignment. Make sure the design is centered on the penny. If it's off-center, that could be a clue to its rarity. If you happen to come across one of these valuable 2012 D. Lincoln pennies, there are a few ways to sell them. You can auction it off through popular online platforms like eBay, where rare coins are constantly being sold to the highest bidder. You can also approach coin dealers who specialize in error coins, or, if you're serious about getting the highest possible price, consider having your coin graded by a professional service. A certified coin often sells for more because buyers know the grade and condition are authentic. To wrap things up, the 2012 D. Lincoln penny is a prime example of how a small error during minting can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's treasure. With some rare variations being worth as much as $3.3 million, it's definitely worth taking a second look at your change. Keep your eyes peeled for those rare errors, and you could just be sitting on a goldmine. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more coin collecting tips and insights. Have you found any rare coins in your collection? Drop a comment below and let us know. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, when it comes to rare coins, you never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Keep searching, and who knows, you could be the next lucky collector to find a coin worth a fortune. Where we uncover the hidden treasures that may be sitting in your pocket right now. Today, we're diving deep into the 2018 Lincoln penny, a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but could hold extraordinary value. Stick around as we explore its fascinating history, the surprising market value, and why this seemingly insignificant 1-cent coin could be worth millions of dollars. When we think of rare coins, the first ones that come to mind are often the older, more traditional ones like the 1909 VDB penny, or perhaps the 1943 copper penny. But what if I told you that the 2018 Lincoln penny, a coin that's only a few years old, might be hiding in plain sight as one of the most valuable pennies in the market today? Before we get into the specifics of the 2018 penny's value, let's take a moment to reflect on the rich history of the Lincoln cent. First issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny has become one of the most beloved and iconic coins in American history. Over the years, the Lincoln penny has undergone numerous design changes, but the obverse has always featured a bust of the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, which is the work of sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse has seen multiple updates, with the most recent redesign in 2010 featuring the Union Shield. In 2018, the U.S. Mint continued to produce these familiar pennies, with the same reverse design featuring the Union Shield. However, in this seemingly typical year of minting, something extraordinary happened. A select few of the 2018 pennies were struck with unusual and highly sought-after characteristics that set them apart from the rest. The most notable among these rare 2018 pennies are the ones that feature striking errors, like the double die or the die crack varieties. These errors are so unique and rare that they can fetch anywhere from hundreds to even millions of dollars at auction. One of the most infamous examples of this rare error is a 2018 penny that was graded by professional numismatists and found to have a significant doubling effect on the obverse. This penny, which originally was worth just 1 cent, was sold for a whopping $3.1 million in an auction just a few years ago. Now, you're probably wondering, how does a modern penny reach such an extraordinary price tag? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and the specific minting error that makes each coin unique. In the case of the 2018 penny, the doubling error was so distinct that it was considered a once-in-a-lifetime find. Experts in the field of numismatics, that's the study of coins and currency, say that error coins are highly prized because they are one of a kind. When a coin is struck incorrectly, it no longer adheres to the strict standards set by the U.S. Mint, making it a rare anomaly. And with rarities come high demand. The 2018 Lincoln penny with the error sold for $3.1 million, but the reason it went for such a high price is due to both the rarity of the error and the impeccable condition of the coin. Not all pennies with errors will fetch millions, but there are certainly opportunities to find similar valuable coins if you know what to look for. So, how can you spot these rare 2018 pennies in your own collection? First, look for any noticeable double images on the obverse, especially around the date or the inscription, "In God We Trust." If the doubling is clear, you might be holding a potential goldmine. Next, check for any die cracks. These are small cracks in the die used to strike the coins, and they can create raised lines on the surface of the coin, which are also highly collectible. The key is to examine the coins carefully under good lighting and with magnification. Once you've identified a potential rare coin, it's important to handle it with care. Avoid touching the coin with your bare hands, as oils from your skin can cause damage to its surface. Use gloves when handling your pennies, and store them in protective holders to maintain their pristine condition. Now, not every 2018 penny is going to be worth millions, but this serves as a reminder that rare coins, no matter how small, can be hiding in plain sight. So, before you discard that penny you just found in your pocket change, take a moment to examine it carefully. You never know, it could be worth more than just 1 cent.